2017 was one of the best years in film over the past 5 years, and I have seen not all, but most films that have come out this year. So before we get into the top 10, I do have two categories to start off. I have honorable mentions that I've seen and honorable mentions that I haven't seen. Movies that I heard were really good that I want to see, but I just don't have the time in 2017. Like, I only have a couple more days of 2017 to see it, and I just don't have time to see it and then put this video out right then and there. And then the ones that I have seen that just didn't really get into the top 10 because I just didn't like them as much as the 10. So let's start off with the honorable mentions that I have not seen. The Shape of Water, I, Tonya, Wind River, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Mudbound. Mudbound is probably the easiest one to see because it's on Netflix, but I still haven't seen it. I don't have time to see it. I'm busy, but I will see it one day. So now the honorable mentions that I have seen. War for the Planet of the Apes. I think it is the best of the trilogy, and I wish there was more. I don't know if there'll be more than this trilogy, but if they stopped here, I'd be fine. But I still want more, and I think that's what makes a great trilogy. You want more, but you're fine with what you got, even if, it's not going to happen. It Comes at Night, one of the most tense movies you'll see throughout the year. It's not a crazy horror movie because that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this tense moment where you don't know who's what, if you trust people. It's about trust, paranoia, and all that kind of jazz in an apocalyptic world. The Big Sick, heard a lot of praise getting into it, watched it. I liked it pretty well. I mean, it was pretty good. I loved it, but it just didn't get into the top 10. There was something missing. Atomic Blonde, one of my favorite action movies in the whole year. I love the sound, I love the look of it, I love the feel of it. I love a lot of things about this, but it just, again, there's so many films that I've seen this year that it's hard to kind of put in the top. Only the Brave, probably the movie that almost was about to get me to cry, even though I knew that it was fucking real, or I knew it was real and I knew what happened. I felt so many emotions leading into the final confrontation and stuff like that in Only the Brave, and it's very emotional, very well written, very well directed. It is one of the better films of this year. If I had a top 11, it might be the 11th one. And then we have Split. Split feels like it's been out forever, like a year or two, because I've talked about it so much. But it's been 2017. I think it might have been early or late 2016, early 2017. I don't remember, but I remember seeing it 2017 in theaters. So yeah. So let's get on to the top 10. Logan. Logan is the second best superhero movie I've seen ever, followed by The Dark Knight. And the reason is because it's so well written, and that R rating gives it so much, because if it wasn't R, I don't know if I'd like it so much. I don't know how he would go. I don't know how anything would happen in this film if it wasn't rated R. And I think, if I remember correctly, Hugh Jackman took a pay cut so that it could become rated R. And I want to say thank you to Hugh Jackman. Thank you for playing Wolverine for basically my whole life, being the childhood that I had for fucking Wolverine. Logan. Get Out is the directorial debut of Jordan Peele, and whoa, did he blow me away. I was not going into it, before the craze happened, when I saw the trailers and everything, I said, okay, this is written by Jordan Peele. He did Key and Peele. He's comedy. I don't know what to feel about that. But Blumhouse is a part of it, and they usually take on really, really good projects. And when I watched it, this was after the hype. I got on the hype train and wrote it through. The screenwriting is fucking beautiful. And all I have to say is this. My only critique about the film is that the alternative ending is better. That's it. I understand why the ending is the way it is because it's more appealing to a master audience than the ending there. The alternative ending, because the alternative ending is really fucking dark, and you're kind of like, fuck, dude. But it makes you think. The new one, the one that's theatrical, doesn't really get you thinking. You're kind of just like, okay, story's over. The alternative one makes you fucking like, why? So that was a Get Out. Blade Runner 2049 is kind of iffy on a lot of people. Some people love it, some people like it. A lot of people didn't see it. When I saw the box office numbers, I was fucking shocked because the hype leading into the film I thought was fucking huge because I was hyped as fuck. A lot of people were hyped as fuck. I loved Blade Runner. I think I've watched all 5 cuts and one of them's better. But like Blade Runner 2049 shot by Roger Deakins. Roger Deakins, hands down, I think the best cinematographer there is today. Amazing camera work, amazing shots and everything. I love seeing the behind the scenes photos from this film because it just shows you that they didn't want it just to be a full CGI mess, that they wanted to make sure that as much practical items they can have, they're going to do. And they did it. And the story is great. The twist is kind of easy to pick up on, but to me, if your movie's predictable, I'll dog you on that. But you have to make up for it in a lot of other things, and it's amazing. I saw it in IMAX, the way it was like basically supposed to be seen, and it is just so fucking good. Baby Driver. It's not lower on this list because the Kevin Spacey deal. Like, you might be like, Baby Driver is the best film of the year. No, not for me. Going into it, it was hyped. Didn't see it in theaters because I really didn't have time to. Got it on Blu-ray as soon as it came out. Watched it, and I liked it. I liked the ending more than a lot of other people did, but I felt like this film had a lot going for itself. It has some of the best choreography, as you could say. It's very choreographed to the beat of the music, and it's just great. The acting's great. Direction's great, as you can probably tell. And the fact that they took the time to not only do like a Hollywood movie type of deal where you're like, oh, we can show this street 3 times while he's driving. They actually did the same path as streets. Like, there's a video on YouTube of them tracking where they drive, and it's really cool to see a filmmaker do that because it's a little extra step in saying, yeah, it's gonna be harder to shoot, but it makes more sense because they're not just like going around in circles. He's evading the police. So Baby Driver's pretty fucking good. Logan Lucky. Logan Lucky, I fucking love it. It's my type of humor. It's my type of action. And it's just overall fun. I always love like the guys who made Ocean's 11 or Ocean's the series or whatever. And I rewatched 11 earlier, like this week, and I could see the similarities. And Logan Lucky is just so fucking amazing. I wanted more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of these characters because they built up each and every character the way that they're supposed to do in a film to make sure that everyone's taken care of, that you care for each and every person in a different way. You either hate this person, like this person, love this person, you kind of iffy on someone. They did this perfectly, and the character development is just beautiful, like I just stated. The story is great. The whole like money deal, they always do the bank heist shit where like, oh, this is what we did instead of actually fucking doing it. And they did it well. They really did it well, and it's one of the better films of 2017. The Disaster Artist is not a parody that you would see. It is a movie about love and passion friends, and coworkers. And it really shows that these people who made this film didn't just care about what the room was, but they cared about what the story was behind Tommy Wiseau. Why was he like this? What happened to him? And you kind of see the softer side. And as a filmmaker, I really feel for Tommy Wiseau in this situation, because when you make a film a certain way and you have a certain genre and people think it's a different genre, then you failed as an artist. And you feel so much pain because you're like, I spent my heart and my soul crafting this and no one understood it. And I think that's what happened with The Room. He wrote something, people didn't understand it. I mean, I don't understand it. But besides the point, this film just tells you the heartbreak story of how Tommy Wiseau was just a person looking for a dream, found someone to do it with, and got criticized for it. This is going to probably confuse a lot of people because this movie had the most hate out of this whole list, and that film is Mother. Oh my god. This movie is amazing. I don't understand why people hate it. I guess they thought that it was a horror movie or something. I mean, the trailers really did emphasize that it was a horror, but it's not a horror. The only horror part of it is that it's about nature. It's about life. It's about how nature is so loving and compassionate to all of us as humans, that we all should have that love and passion towards, Mother Nature, and we don't, and we take advantage of Mother, and that's what happens. And in this film, it details a very abstract way of showing it, and it's, I think, one of the better films of the year. It had me thinking when I left the theater, and if a film makes me think, then that's a great film for me. Even like if it's a bad movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, this was dumb. Why'd they do this? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like some like crazy like science like shit that you just think about the world and everything, and that's what Mother did for me. It's, I think, one of the better films of this year. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it proudly. This is his best film of his career. Dunkirk. Dunkirk is, I think, Christopher Nolan's best film. And I am one of the biggest fans of The Dark Knight. I love it. I've seen it probably the most of anyone besides the editor probably. The editor probably saw it a bunch of times more than me. But I've seen it so many times. I just don't remember how many. It might be in the hundreds, to be honest. That's how fucking crazy it is. I watch it at least once a month. I have a fucking problem. But besides the point, Dunkirk is a short, action-packed, little dialogue movie that makes you tense, makes you scared, makes you feel about these characters in 3 different timelines, and you feel for them. You're scared for them. You're scared with them because it feels like you're just right there. It's shot beautifully. I saw it on 70mm IMAX, and it was fucking beautiful. And it was one of those things where it's like, I never expected that from him. I love Christopher Nolan. I think he's one of the best directors there is today. Might be the best. But he took it a step further for me. And Dunkirk, it's amazing. I can't wait till it gets on Blu-ray. I think it's coming out late December or early January. So I'll be on the hunt for that once it comes out. Dunkirk. Number 2 is a lot of people's number 1, from what I've saw on most people's list. Not in the case for me. Lady Bird. Lady Bird is a great new way to tell a coming-of-age story. From not just that, but having people having to face that coming-of-age story. You see the mother struggle to kind of relay what's going on in her life, that her child is about to go off to college, and it tells it in a beautiful way. And I think there's a twist in the film, to be honest with you. The twist is it's not about the daughter, it's about the mother. It's the mother's story about coping with the idea that her daughter is growing up and becoming a woman. And this film does it great. And I just think that just needed a little more to be number one. But you know, I don't know what it is. But if I think about it, I'll tell you. But my number one film of the year, of 2017, that I think deserves the best Oscar, like the Oscar, the gold man, the gold statue that I wish that one day I will hold, hopefully. Brigsby Bear. I know most of you, if you're not a moviegoer, if you're not a movie fan, crazy film fan, then you're probably like, what the fuck is Brigsby Bear? It sounds like a kid's show, it sounds like a kid's cartoon, and your ass put this shit on number one. Matt Martin, this better be a joke. LOL. Click enter in the comments. But no, Brigsby Bear is about finding your passion, following your passion with your friends, your family, and having to face how the world is. It's about a guy who was trapped in isolation for 30 plus years and has to go out into the real world that he's never seen before, never interacted with anyone besides the people who kidnapped him, and he has to face that. And this film does a great job of being funny, being drama, being a fucking mystery, because you're kind of like, why the fuck was he kidnapped? Like, there's so many aspects in this film that it's just amazing. And of course you get the Andy Samberg cameo, and it's kind of weird because he's kind of like on the poster of it, and he's like not even in the film that much. I think maybe 5 minutes at most. Like if I timed it, it's probably not going to be a lot, to be honest with you. But I do think Brigsby Bear is the best film of the year. It's a very weird film. If you haven't seen it, I would highly suggest you see it. I would highly suggest, if you haven't seen any of the movies that I just stated, to go see them. Because 2017 was the year that Matt Martin watched too many damn movies.